Hey there, welcome to Dark Side of a Working Girl Halloween version. Thank you for joining me. My name is Cerise Fairfax, and I just want to invite you to sit down, kick your feet up, and stay a while and listen to this story time. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I love you. You are amazing, and I really appreciate your support. Alrighty, guys, without any further ado, let's get into today's story. Oh, wait, before we do, make sure you check out Dark Side of Lust, another channel that I have on YouTube, and it is all story time. On this channel, we bring out story time Wednesdays and Saturdays. But there's something for everyone on this channel, so again, sit back and relax. Hey there, my name is Claudia, and I am a working girl. I work out of Toronto, Ontario, and I'm a dancer as well. However, I can get my money is how I'll get it, to be honest with you. Um, I'm trying to save up to move to the Dominican Republic, and I hope one day that that's going to come sooner than later. But for now, I have my little hustle. And you see, I was raised with my dad. My mom, she took her own life when I was very young. I think it's because of my dad, but at least my dad continued to take care of me and didn't hand me over to the Children's Aid Society when I was very young. And I don't know if we want to call him taking care of me. He kind of just dragged me up as opposed to raise me up, but beggars can't be choosers, and that's what I was for a while. There were a few times when we were homeless and I had no clue where we were going to sleep. And then finally, when I was 16 years old, I got rid of him. I just had to go do things on my own. I was tired of figuring out when he was going to quit drinking. So then I went out on my own into the big world, and that's when I became a working girl. And I took out some ads in the newspaper. Now, what I would do is I would put ads in a newspaper called the Buy and Sell. At the back of the newspaper, it was legal to put out ads as a working girl. I would also put them out in the local newspaper called the Toronto Sun. And so I would just put in these ads descriptions of different types of women. For instance, I'm an Asian woman. I'm 5'1", but some of these ads I would say 5'8", very curvy, and fair skin. Or I would put out an ad saying the opposite. Very slim or medium build, and I would even say I was brown, black, white, sometimes Asian, and the men would come calling. Now, my ads themselves were quite sophisticated because I would say, come visit a, beautiful brown nurse or an Asian school teacher, or I would say a white schoolgirl, and I would dress the role. Now, when the guy would show up at the door and he would take a look at me, and of course, if he wanted a white woman, he saw an Asian woman dressed up, he would feel pretty nasty. Like, he'd be like, oh, I just got duped. You're a catfish. Like, you're not what I thought you were. I was gearing myself up for the person that was the description because I never left photos. It was a newspaper, it wasn't a place back where you can use a photo. So I would say to him, I'm sorry, the girl, she left for the day. She, was feeling a little tired, but I'm here if you want to get with me. And that's how it would go. Most of them, 90% of them would say, okay. They'd be like, all right, let's see what you got. And of course, I would rock their world. I never ever took their money or tried to rob them or ever tried to, scam them any other way. And hey, I was pretty good looking. More the guys that would be disappointed would be the ones that were coming for the 5'8" beautiful brown medallion and Queen Nefertiti, and those are the guys that would be more disappointed because they were not looking for an Asian woman that is petite. But I can remember one day a guy showed up, Now, before he came to the apartment, he was difficult. He contacted me at the number from the newspaper, the Toronto Sun, and he contacted me. Now, I should have known that he was going to be a little nasty and dirty because the Sun is more of a different newspaper than the Star. In Toronto, we have the Sun and the Star. The Star is more conservative. The Sun is more liberal. And it's not that nasty people read it. It's just that they have stuff like the Sunshine Girl every day, and they're just more kind of open minded. And the people that usually read those ads are usually the ones that are looking for something a little bit more kinky. So the guy, before he messaged me, he said, "Hey, I just want to know, is it okay if caning is all right? And also if it's okay for you to kind of just treat me like crap." And I'm not really a dominatrix, but I thought, why not? It was a slow week and I was on my menstrual cycle. So I thought if he can just hurry up and get here and I can double condom it and we're all good. And he wants to be beat more than he wants to be loved, fine. We are both on the same page. So that's what happened. He showed up, and as soon as he showed up, he was expecting a black woman. And he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, this is already turning out bad." And I just looked at him, and he could tell that I was setting him up and that he could tell that there was not going to be any black woman because I said to him, "Oh, she had to leave." And he's like, "Don't tell me she had to leave for the day. I know how the game goes. But I'm already here anyway, all the way from Brampton." Now, Brampton in Toronto, it's about 40 minutes away at most. And so he's like, "I already came in from Brampton, so let's just get this over with." So already I was feeling a little like he was aggressive. And he came in with the cane and he put the cane down on the table, but he didn't just put it down, he slammed it down. Now, for a guy that wants to be dominated, I thought at first he put it down like that because he wanted me to pick it up and beat him with it and say, "Don't put the cane down like that." So I immediately got into action. I picked the cane up and I said, "Don't you ever do that again." And I whacked him with it. And he grabbed it from me and he said, "Don't you ever do that again. We're not even in the bedroom yet. What are you doing? Are you crazy?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "You need to ask me first how I want it done." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." Now here I am, just a tiny person. And this guy was like a truck driver. And he was, I would give him 6'5", tallest man I've ever seen. And so we went into the bedroom. Once we got into the bedroom, he took off his jeans and he was wearing, no word of a lie, fishnet pantyhose. And they looked pretty damaged. They had a couple of holes in them. Looked like he mangled them, pulling them on because he probably didn't even know how to put pantyhose on in the first place. He just had those big, thick hands and really thick legs. So, they were like ripped in different places. And I kind of giggled. And he looked at me and he's like, "What the F are you giggling at?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, your pantyhose, they just look really sweet." And he's like, "They're not pantyhose, they're stockings." And he said, "Oh, another red flag. Do you even know what you're doing?" And I said, "Oh, no, no." And he's like, "Please refer to these as stockings in the bedroom." I said, "Absolutely, you're right. They are fishnet stockings. I will refer to them as that." And he's like, "All right." So then we started. I said to him, I said, "If you don't mind, can we just talk a little bit first? Because I feel like we got started off on the wrong foot, and maybe we should just really try to try to tell me about what it is you really want. I know you told me prior on the phone, but I just really want to know exactly what you want in person, as I feel like I'm not doing what you want." And he said, "Well, first of all, you lied, so that pissed me off. Second of all, I don't feel like I need to tell a professional how to do their job. And third of all, I just really want to get this dealt with. And you already embarrassed me by laughing at me. I really just want to go, but I'll stick around to see if you change a little bit and if you actually are as good as you sound in your ad. So at that moment, I was just like, I don't know what to do with this dude. So I wanted him to calm down a little bit. I went into the kitchen and I got myself just a little pill to give him so he would calm down because I felt like he really needed to just calm down. I mixed it up a little bit inside of a drink for him and brought it to him. The powder was still on top a little bit and he noticed. And he said, "What the F are you giving me?" And I felt really scared at that moment. And I said, "What?" And he's like, "What is floating on top of this drink? Who are you taking for a fool here?" He's like, "I've been doing this long enough to know when I have a fake in front of me, and you're a fake. I'm out of here." And he took the glass itself and he whipped all of the drink on me and he walked towards the door and he left, but he forgot his cane. So at this moment, I just decided to clean up and I was like, wow, that was really strange. And thankfully, he didn't try to beat me or hurt me. But I wasn't too worried because I do have cameras downstairs. I live in a beautiful condo downtown Toronto. So I went into the shower and then about 10 minutes later, he's knocking on my door. And I'm thinking it's for the cane. And when I opened the door, he said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "About?" And he's like, "The way I just treated you." And I said, "Okay." And he's like, "May I come in?" And I said, "Absolutely." He went straight into the room. He bent over and he asked me to spank him with the cane. And he didn't want anything else. No intimacy, no loving, no kindness, just to be beat with that cane. Now, he did want photos of himself in the fishnet stockings. And he also wanted photos of himself with in different positions without getting too graphic. So I did that. And I took them with my cell phone and sent them to his cell phone. We became regulars. Every week he would come and it would be like clockwork. He would just come to the door. He would open the door and he would say, "I'm sorry." And then he would go straight through to the room, go into the room, and I would take the cane from him and beat him. And then we'd take a little bit of a break. But there was one week where he didn't contact me. And I couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe something was wrong with him. So I contacted his cell phone and he checked my message, but he didn't read it. He didn't respond, rather. So I thought to myself, this is kind of weird. Then all of a sudden, I received a phone call from a woman. And she said to me, "You are a working girl, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "My husband has been coming to see you, hasn't he?" And I'm like, "Who's your husband?" And she's like, "The guy with the fishnet pantyhose, the fishnet stockings." And I said, "I'm confidential and I really don't get into this. So can you tell me what it is like that you're calling about?" And she's like, "Well, listen, I will pay you because they're going through a divorce." And she wanted photos. And she said, "I will pay you way more than what he will pay you. So if you can please send me the photos as well and take some videos." And I said, "Well, you have to sign a contract with me and you also have to promise me a certain amount." And she did. She promised me $20,000, which, in the grand scheme of things, it may seem like a lot of money, but their divorce dragged on for like 6 months, and I can make $20,000 easily in 1 month. So I started to feel like there was a little bit of an unfairness in regards to money, and I love money. So I was taking videos of him because I told him once he came in that we should take videos as well as photos, and he loved the idea. So I continued to send him the photos and the videos, and I also sent them to his wife. Now, when they were closer to the divorce, he started to open up to me and he started to sit on the bed. He would come in crying and I would say, "What's going on?" And he'd tell me about his divorce problems. And it seemed to me that his wife was taking advantage of him. And it seemed to me that his wife was stealing from him. He told me that he came from a very rich family and he was never disciplined. His mom always gave him everything that he wanted, and his dad was never around. And he would misbehave for just a little bit of attention, and nobody would give it to him. And the only person that would give him the attention would be his nanny, and she would whack him a little bit. And not only that, he got used to that as a form of love. So that's the reason why he likes to be caned. Now, his nanny didn't cane him, but as he became more of a grown up, he couldn't find a woman that could smack him hard enough on his bum in order for it to hurt. And he resorted to whips and chains and canes. And that is when I started to feel sorry for him because it was clear that his wife was trying to take him through the cleaners. So after a few months of me taking the videos and sending them to her, and they were about to get divorced, I flipped the script and I told her that if she tries to do anything with the videos and the photos, I will tell the courts that she paid me $20,000 to take those photos and it was all a setup. And then she offered me $40,000 to shut up. And I went to him and I told him what was going on. And he offered me $50,000. And I told him that's just not going to be enough because when I go back to her to tell her I want more money, she's going to offer me a heck of a lot more. When I started to realize these people are wealthy and they're dealing with millions and they only want to pay me 20 and then 40, no. As a matter of fact, he paid me $1,000 a week when he was coming over to my place. And when he did stop coming for that moment, just to kind of back up and let you guys know, when he did stop coming, it was only because he felt she was following him and sneaking into his phone. And he wasn't sure, so he didn't want to communicate with me. But he only took about a good month off and he communicated with me again from a new phone number. That's what happened there. And, I did reveal to him that, yes, it was her. She did go into his phone and he was right. His intuition was on point. She was on to him. And she also contacted me and wanted me to use it in a court of law as proof that you're cheating and that you're wasting money. And she also wanted me to write down how often he was going there and how much he was paying me. So I told him that he's going to have to come up with a hefty amount. I like the guy, but I don't like him that much to save his life in regards to him not going through the cleaners. I did feel sorry for him, but hey, everyone has their hustle. And so I told him he's going to have to pay me $100,000 to shut my mouth because she was going to be taking half of his money and he was worth over $1 million. Well, over a few million, but $1 million cold cash, and then of course some properties and stuff of that nature. And she was getting half. But if I spoke on his behalf in court and I said exactly what she was doing and how manipulative she is and stuff of that nature, then he wouldn't have to pay out as much. And he could just, show the courts that he was being abused ever since he was younger. And then his wife married him only for money. And then, his little bit of enjoyment she tried to exploit. I don't know how it worked out for him in court. I have no clue. I did get my 100,000, and I did write an affidavit for his lawyer. I went into the office. I got a video recording of myself, and I said, yes, I am a working girl. I'm an escort. And it's illegal in Canada. So I was really putting myself on the line with my name and everything because I don't put it on my taxes that I'm making that much money when it comes to, you know, that underground business. And so I went and I did a video deposition, they called it, I signed an affidavit saying that everything was truthful. The wife is the one that set me up to take these videos and photos. And that was it. Again, I don't know what happened. I didn't see him afterwards. Some days I feel that he did to himself what my mother did to herself and take his life because he was in a bad state. The wife, she never contacted me again either. It could be possible that they settled out of court. Both of them didn't have really any grounds. And that was it. At the end of the day, I just wanted to say that sometimes when you're getting a divorce, you need to be very careful what your mate is doing. Sometimes they will go to different things like hiring a private eye, maybe going through your phone, your bank account, your private things that you never think that they would be able to hack into. So make sure you put a super duper powerful type of password on all of your phones and tablets. Hey guys, oh, there's some good advice there, huh? Yes, a lot of good advice there. Well, I would have to say that hopefully the best turned out for the both of them. And speaking about the best, may you guys have the best day. And I love you so much for joining. My name is Cerise. This is my channel. Please take a moment to subscribe, hit that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell because it will tell you when I upload a new video. Subscribing is free, so please go ahead and make sure you share the video and be careful out there.